Good morning, dear listeners. On our top stories today, the technical meeting between the technical staff of Cameroon and officials of the Angolan Football Federation ended yesterday in Luanda ahead of the game, which is going to take place today at 8 p.m. Central African Time against the Indomitable Lions of Cameroon and the Palancras Negras of Angola. The Federation headquarters said in a statement it was the technical staff appointed by Fecafoot who took part in this meeting. The Cameroon team will play with its traditional green, red, and yellow jersey in this edition of the news, which shall be deciphering this particular encounter. Meantime, a plane carrying Malawi's Vice President Saulos Chilima and 9 other people has been reported missing after it failed to make a scheduled landing, according to the presidential office in Malawi. The Malawi Defense Forces aircraft carrying Chilima and the others left the capital of Lilongwe at 9:17 a.m. local time, which is 3:17 a.m. ET. And the presidential officers and cabinet said in a statement. We shall also be talking EU elections in this edition of the news, as last night President Emmanuel Macron of France dissolved the National Assembly and announced fresh elections for June 30th and July 7th, 2024. We shall be talking about all of this in this edition of the news. Good morning again, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to CAM1 Radio, the People's Radio on FM 99.5 F, which is the frequency. You are on our central news desk here in Limbe, and we are here to distribute the news for today. We immediately kickstart this news session with our human interest page and talk about the separatist fighters who are operating in Bamenda, that's in the restive northwest region of the country, are said to have shot and killed a commercial motorbike rider yesterday evening. Investigations are still ongoing to elucidate this affair. Meantime, the UNDP political party led by Tourism Minister Bello Buba Maigari in Cameroon has issued a legal threat against the CPDM political party for allegedly defaming the party and its leader. Legal action looms as the political tensions escalates in that part of the country. The Presbyterian Church in Cameroon, in its acronym PCC, has blessed the people of Boya with the inauguration of a new diagnostic health center. This is a significant development for healthcare in the southwest region of the country. And I will talk something else related to politics and say some Amazonian activists, in quotes, and leaders have condemned Ayabacho's ADF for their recent attacks on taxis in Bamenda, which Ayabacho is a political activist who has been running for the movement, which has been condemned by the Republic of Cameroon. They say this is counterproductive, and shall be coming back to subsequent editions of this particular news story on our newscast here on CAM1 Radio. Political activist still Kawala has strongly criticized the CPDM political party for pervasive corruption and violence in the Cameroon. I quote what she said. She said, everything in CPDM states is about violence and corruption. This was said yesterday in Douala by Kawala, who is a political activist. And she also says waste and corruption in the fight against corruption is outstanding. The technical meeting between the technical staff of Cameroon and the officials of the Angolan Football Federation ended yesterday in Luanda at the Federation headquarters in Luanda, there in Angola. It was the technical staff appointed by Fecafoot who took part in this meeting. The Cameroon team will be playing with its traditional green, red, and yellow jersey today in Luanda ahead of the match against the Palancras Negras of Luanda, or Angola rather, against the Indomitable Lions of Cameroon today at 8 p.m. prompt Central African time. 7 municipal councillors from the Cameroon National Salvation Front FSNC resigned to join the National Alliance for Democracy and Progress ANDP in its acronym, citing unmet expectations. ANDP's National President Minister Hamadou Mustafa welcomed the defectors. We talk something else. 156 out of about 2,000 recruits training to join the Cameroon's Rapid Intervention Battalion in its acronym BIR have commenced a 400-kilometer trek from Marwa in the north region of Cameroon or far north region of Cameroon. And the capital of the far north region, what do you make of this aspect? And their training is something which has been said by many commentators who are actually following this particular match by the Cameroon Defense Forces, the B, who are already on training as we speak. The government of Cameroon is also working on developing a local arms production factory. According to reports, the goal is to reduce dependence on the import of war arsenal. Another story which is also looming around in the Cameroon tribunes today. And we talk something completely different and talk about the Cameroon's Prime Minister and Head of Government, Joseph Jonguti, inaugurated the Betua Reference Hospital Center yesterday. The building is built on a 5-hectare site that was initiated in 2017. On our editorial page today, so many questions have been looming and lurking around the Cameroonian people and mindsets as people continue to question if President Paul Biya does not present his candidacy for the CPDM next year, who will become the flag bearer. Dr. Ben Aki has a question to that, an answer to that question of the English Cameroon and for United Cameroon Movement explained a recent opinion poll as they conducted. He said from the ranking of potential presidential candidates on the opposition side, the top 5 candidates include a dominant Mr. Maurice Kamto with 51.65%, followed by Mr. Cabral Libi with 25.10%, and then Mr. Joshua Osinabangi of the SDF political party with 5.29%. Then there is also Mr. Abaka Ahmad with 3.44%, and lastly, Mr. Bello Buba Maigari with 2.38%. The top 3 candidates are thus the same 3 among the top 4 candidates of the 2018 presidential election, reflecting no significant breakthrough by new candidates. From the ranking of potentials, president's candidates on the CPDM side, the top 5 candidates are from top to 5th, Mr. Joseph Jonguti, 29.32%, Mr. Marafa Hamidou Yaya, 18.11%, Mr. Alamin Usman May, 13.77%, and Mr. Malashi Manauda, 8.99%, and also Mr. Philemon Young, who just became the spokesman for the General Assembly of the United Nations, and with an 8.64%. It should also be reiterated that these are the same top 5 candidates from last time with similar order, except for the swap of the 4th and 5th places by Mr. Manauda and Mr. Philemon Yang. These were some of the pronostics given to us today by a top politician who goes by the name of Dr. Ben Aki from the English Cameroon for a United Cameroon Movement, who explained in a recent opinion poll as they conducted in the English-speaking of part of the country. On to our major lead story. Rescue operations have been postponed till tomorrow as an aircraft carrying Malawi's Vice President Saulos Chilima and 9 others went missing. The Malawi Defense Force aircraft went off the radar after leaving the capital Lilongwe on Monday. We shall be coming back with more flesh on this story in subsequent editions of our news. And still on our international page, Israeli War Cabinet Minister Benny Gantz quit emergency government in row over Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's post-conflict plans for Gaza. At least 10 people have died and 33 injured after suspected militants fired on a bus carrying Hindu pilgrims in the Indian Federal Territory of Jammu and Kashmir. The police authorities in that particular part of the world have already initialized a statement on that particular issue. Meantime, several people were injured, including a sheriff's deputy, after a bull leaped over the fence in Oregon at a bull rodeo area in the United States of America. I should also be safe to say that two 12-year-old boys have been found guilty of murdering a 19-year-old boy, Sean Sisai, who was stabbed with a machete in Wolverhampton, England. Investigations are still ongoing to elucidate this affair in England, as these boys will be facing probable jail time in that part of the world. And the party of said its plans will be funded by reversing tax cuts for banks and closing tax loopholes exploited by the country's wealthiest individuals. This is in the Lib Dem manifesto to pledge a £9 billion NHS and care rescue package in the United Kingdom. We talk still news in the United Kingdom and say elections 2024, the panorama interviews with Nick Robinson. Rishi Sunak, who is the Prime Minister of the Conservative Party in the United Kingdom, says has been questioned on taxes, housing, and D-Day by Nick Robinson in first of uh, British Broadcasting Corporation panorama leader interviews. Meantime, UN Security Council votes 14 to 1 to back US proposed Israel Gaza ceasefire plan. That's another major story today, which is also looming the media world. The projected gain for the hard right in the European parliamentary elections may seem modest in terms of pure numbers, but they are significant, writes a very beautiful journalist who is a print journalist, Luke McG, in an analysis where he says the projected gain for the hard right in the European parliamentary elections may seem modest. Far-right parties are predicted to win a record number of seats in the European Parliament, a result that, if condemned, will deliver a stinging rebuke to Brussels' political mainstream and add uncertainty to Europe's future direction. We talk the war in Ukraine right now to say Ukraine's military said it has destroyed one of Russia's newest and the most advanced fighter jets in a drone strike on a military base deep inside the Russian territory. Meantime, away from Europe and onto the Asian continent, as North Korea sent a new wave of trash-laden balloons towards its southern neighbor after Kim Jong Un's powerful sister warned of further responses if the South keeps up its psychological warfare. Israel in political turmoil as pressure mounts over war in Gaza. We shall be following all of this live here with us on CAM1 radio and television. And we'll talk something completely different. Girls and young women freed from Boko Haram terrorists in the northeast Nigeria continue to suffer severe hardships, including unlawful military detention, neglect, and inadequate support to start over, according to a new Amnesty International report. And we shall be coming back to more subsequent editions of the news concerning the particular story of girls in Nigeria who have been abducted by the Boko Haram Islamic terrorist group. Wild African elephants have been addressed or may address each other using individualized calls that resemble that personal names used by humans, as a new study suggests in Africa. While dolphins are known to call one another by big licking, the signature whistle of a dolphin they want to address, and the parrots have been found to address each other in a similar way. African elephants in a new study in Kenya may go a step further in identifying one another. This was in a report today published by a lot of journalists from eastern part of Africa, who suggest that elephants rather, in Kenya might go a step forward or further in identifying one another. Some may say it is superstition, and others may say it is just pure biology. British TV personality and health guru Michael Mosley may have died shortly after becoming unwell while walking alone on the Greek island of Simi, as local police have also said. It should also be recalled that Michael Mosley is a television doctor who popularized a type of intermittent fasting known as the 5.2 diet, which who was on vacation when he went missing on Wednesday last week, sparking an enormous days-long search involving the police, fire service, coast guards, and volunteers. Meantime, Sudanese paramilitary forces stormed the main hospital or in North Darfur, opening fire and looting vital medical supplies. Doctors Without Borders has reported, and we at CAM1 Radio have been fortunate to have this information at very first hand, as they say fighters from the Rapid Support Forces plundered the facility on Saturday, stealing an ambulance among other supplies, as the aid agency has actually said. And recall, we talk sports now to say the WNBA, that's the Women National Basketball Association, just had its highest attended opening month in 26 years, followed by a powerhouse rookie class with the likes of a Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese. The league also said on Monday it had its most watched start of the season games ever across all six networks that broadcast matches on all networks across the United States and in the world as well. And we talked something completely different. You see, the Port of Baltimore shipping channel is fully operational again, as response officials announced on Monday, more than 2 months after a massive cargo ship crashed into the Francis Scott Key Bridge, killing 6 construction workers and cutting off access to the crucial shipping artery. And a plane carrying Malawi's Vice President Saulo Chilima, I will reiterate the story again, and 9 other people has been reported missing after it failed to make a scheduled landing, according to the presidential office in Malawi. The Malawi Defense Force aircraft carrying Chilima and others left the capital the long way at 9:17 a.m. local time, which is 3:17 a.m. Eastern time, and the presidential office and cabinet said in a statement, people are still people and the rescue workers are still finding ways to locate that plane which has gone missing for over so many hours. Now, ladies and gentlemen, this is where I leave you today with the news on Command Radio 99.5 FM is the frequency, and I read to you, this is the People's Radio for presentation. I am Ekome Charles Abane. See you tomorrow, same time, same place on the People's Radio.